On today's episode of Make It, we've got a photographer who's based an entire career off of capturing photos just with her phone. Join me and Elise Swopes where she talks about her constant pursuit for creativity and giraffes on this episode of Make It. Hey Elise, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Good, good. Your job is creating imagery that you put on Instagram with your iPhone. That's how you make a living. Yeah. You are creating your entire creative career entirely off of a phone. I think it's amazing. I think that's what a lot of folks out there are like would be excited to hear about.
I mean, we've been talking about free apps. You know, we've been talking about social media and all these things are at our fingertips. You know, like that's what I think. It's just we have so much opportunity to create the life we want.
You can create really amazing stuff. You can get clients using your phone. Yeah. And that's what I think is super awesome.
It's insane to kind of watch. Just from my perspective is like seeing how Instagram started and
it feels like the goal that Instagram has been trying to go into is a social network. And so they changed some of their algorithms to focus in and prioritize.
I think the algorithm, them switching away from the chronological order really deterred from the concept of Instagram. I think when Instagram started, it was all about the simplicity of, you know, post your photo and it's in the timeline.
Instagram.
Right. Come on. Okay.
Are you finding yourself as an Instagram professional having to like try and reverse engineer the algorithm?
Oh my
figure out how
Well, when I first started, and when I say we, me and my boyfriend, he's also an Instagrammer, we kind of started doing that all together. Neither of us were photographers at the time. He was an engineer for music, and I was doing graphic design, but also a rapper. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was all about getting on the popular page, okay? Like, it wasn't like memes. It wasn't like celebrity selfies. It wasn't like anything. It was like pure art, amazing photographs.
So like somebody would be curating it by hand.
Someone was like picking, but also we started realizing that if you get a certain amount of likes in a certain amount of time, then you would get on the popular page.
And that's where the pods come from.
So then everyone started like thinking about, you know, like how to get numbers. And so there's where the algorithm started kind of coming up, where the game was getting played. Right.
So
You know?
like the algorithm's trying to get smarter, and the creators are trying to get smarter, and everybody's like fighting against each other.
Right, so now it's not, it's like, it's a free-for-all. It's a mess.
If you had a chance to talk to Instagram folks, and you're
please, God, give us chronological order back. Like, stop this algorithm stuff. It's ruining Instagram, and people are mad. And the real creatives of Instagram care about Instagram more than anyone else.
The people that I know that work in Instagram are big fans of the art scene. That's why they work at Instagram.
Right.
So they really love and respect the art, and I think that they're just trying to figure out how to make it all balanced together. Let's take a look real quickly at some of these photos, because I was really excited to have you on the show, and I was talking to some of my friends, and I'm like, yo, look at this stuff that she's doing just with her iPhone, and the idea of how that's just like this, and we throw out the word democratization of photography a lot.
Right.
But the idea that you are capturing all of these images and then compiling them together and turning them into your own piece of art. You then are engaging with some really, really amazingly big brands. First of all, mad props.
Thanks.
Amazing. You are really awesome.
Thank
and
you.
very inspiring.
Thanks.
So talk to me about like what you're doing, what's your process? Why did you, first of all, even like, what is this photo to you?
This bottom piece is actually a photo I shot with my iPhone 7 Plus. On that day, I woke up, I saw it was really foggy outside and everything was super covered. I went up to the Hancock Observatory and they told me, this is what they always say, they say, you shouldn't go up, you're gonna pay your money to get up and it's gonna be zero visibility. And that means like the fog is covering your entire view. Yeah. But some days, you'll come up and the fog is right below. Right. So you've got the whole entire city there.
So you've got like, it looks like you got like 3 different photos in here.
I have
or 4.
4.
Yes.
Sky, and then the moon is another thing, and then this even.
Yep. So you got like the transition layer, and then you got the city down below.
How I came up with this, I don't know. People are always asking me like, what's my creative process? I literally just have a feeling of something. Like I feel like that's just supposed to fit. There's like maybe 100 different edits, honestly, of different clouds that I used to blend, or different sky, or different colors. Or the original city shot was not blue. So there was a lot of like color matching that needed to be done as well. And I mean, there's a lot of levels that go into it.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Let's take a look at some of your other photos that you have in here.
Of course.
You've got a thing with giraffes.
I do.
Talk to us about giraffes.
It's a love affair between me and my fans. And when I first started designing on Instagram, I was putting a lot of different animals in my shots. My slogan is keep your imagination alive.
That's
and
awesome.
That's literally what I try to do, is keep people thinking and imagining things that are just out of the box.
Yeah, that's
No,
so
I mean,
cool.
or inside the box.
Inside
no
of the
pun
glass box.
intended.
Yeah. Let's see what other ones we got here.
This,
Yes.
I kind of went back and looked at an old piece of my work. I said, what I didn't like about it, how could I change the hues, how could I make it more realistic? So with this, this is one of my most recent ones, is I just, made it a lot cooler. And you can even go to the video if you'd like to.
Sure.
Is another SC. So that's something I like to do now, is just kind of just do a little something. And a lot of people really love that, and people were really posting it and stuff. They just like cinemagraphs. Cinemagraphs is like it's like in right now.
Yeah.
Like
Isn't that nice balance between like the still photo, but a little bit of movement in there? It kind of reminds you. I think a lot of people call them like the Harry Potter kind of photos, where there's a little bit of movement in there, a little bit of motion.
Exactly. My personal thing is thinking, how can we make this like super normalized? Like if I'm walking to the train and I just see a waterfall, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
So what are you doing to make some of these things? What's your process? What's your apps that you're of love?
Specifically, with this image, I use a lot of different apps, actually. Cool. And so the sky is with an app called Circular, and it's kind of like Tiny Planet, where you'll just insert your image and then kind of play around and make it a circle or any kind of, you can play with the X, Y axis, do all types of really cool things. And then the bottom part, that little reflection going on there, I like to use this app called Reflect. And with Reflect, you can kind of just mimic
little ripples in it.
Yeah. I'll also use an app called Art Studio. It's by these people called Lucky Clan. Literally just very, very basic tools. Cut out, mask, layers, draw, all types of things. So that's what I use to do the cityscape, and darken that and place it over the sky. And then I also use an app called Filter Storm
of course.
For the top half. And then my last thing is I put the sun in the middle, which is another app called Lens Light. So you can add sun, stars, all that type of stuff. And then my final, I think I went over it with a filter from Visco.
So let's see here. Like more of your giraffe. Very cute giraffe.
Yeah, that was I was walking around.
And saw this giraffe was walking down
saw
the
the
street.
giraffe.
Gotta take a picture. Whenever you see the giraffe, gotta snap.
Right. This was also edited and on my phone and with the Art Studio app.
Cool. I mean, these things are all really great. But if you were to talk to somebody else who wants to get more popular, more famous on Instagram, or wants to grow their following, what have you found that works? Are there any recommendations that you have?
Being in the real world is most important. Going to parties, meeting people, collaborating on projects.
So Instagram collaboration meetups, that kind of stuff.
Going to photo walks and stuff. I mean, tagging your work is extremely, extremely important. But my suggestion is don't tag things that has nothing to do with the photo.
Right.
It's complete disrespect, and it makes you look really rude and silly.
Any other tips on improving your Instagram game?
I mean, honestly, just love what you do. Just don't be fake about any of it, and don't don't go into it being like, who's gonna shout me out today? How do I get more followers?
If you're in it for that,
it will come when you.
That should not be the reason why you're doing this stuff. Do it because you love the art.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Elise. Really appreciate you coming in. It was a lot of fun talking to you.
Of course, you
I love
too.
your work. It's really fun. Your passion for photography is definitely obvious, and your playfulness is also really appreciated.
Thank you.
So thank
very
you.
much.
And thanks everybody out there for coming in and joining us on this episode of Make It. See us next time.